Hi. I have been taking a class that's called A Year of Mystical Living, and we have spent many months together. And in this last month, our small group was charged with praying for an issue outside ourselves, so in the world. And we talked about what issue we wanted to pray about. And some groups were picking hurricanes and Syria and war, and my group picked the political situation in Washington, D.C. Oh boy. And so I started to pray about that. I started to see God in the midst of everything that's happening in Washington, D.C. And when I started, it was kind of like, I'll just be an equal opportunity prayer, and I'll pray for Republicans and Democrats. We're all equal. But as I started to do it, it became really clear that I needed to pray for one person in particular. And so I realized that I had the strongest reaction to President Trump. And so I went, okay, I'm going to pray for Trump. And I started to, every time I read about anything that he had said, done, or what was being said about him, to see the face of God in Trump, to see Trump through the eyes of love, to see that no one is outside of that love. And I really began to understand the whole idea of praying without ceasing, because he's attacked constantly. So I was constantly stopping and seeing the face of God and seeing love in Trump and in myself. And one day I was in the public restroom at a grocery store, and somebody had written in big letters across the wall, "Trump is God." And somebody else had written underneath, "No, he's not." And I just had to laugh. It was like, wow, I can't even go to the restroom without this message following me, because I might have been in the "no, he's not" camp a few weeks before, but the idea that Trump is God and so am I really just got me. And I thought about that. Every time I thought about him, I thought about, I am love and so is Trump. I am the expression and the face of love and so is Trump. And I would call it a softening, so that whenever I think about Trump, I actually feel love and kind of fond of him. And so this is really a story about the transformative power of love. A couple of weeks ago, I went to give a talk at a conference, which I do as part of my work. It was at the Linwood Convention Center. And I was sitting at the back of the room listening to the keynote speaker and getting ready to go off to my room and give my talk. And this little thought came to me, this is probably going to be a big waste of time. There's probably not going to be anybody in my talk. I'm not going to get any business out of this. And I thought, no, that's not the experience I want to have. And so I closed my eyes in the back of this room, and I sat, and I just visualized the talk I wanted to give and how it would be received. And I could see that the room was full of people, and they loved me and I loved them, and it was standing room only. And I thought, wow, I am so grateful that that's about to be my experience. And I thought, you know what, God, while I'm at it, I'd like 2 clients out of this thing. I want to have 2 people come up to me at the end of this talk and tell me they want to work with me. And I opened my eyes and I just felt so full of love and gratitude. And I walked down the hall to my room where I was going to give my talk, and I walked in, and it was already full of people that were waiting for me. And I was like, whoa. And I walked up to the front, and people kept pouring in, and they were standing room only around it. And it was an amazing experience to give this talk, just to give of myself and to feel that love, and I loved them. And I was so high, I was just euphoric at the end of it. And I walked out of my room, and somebody ran up to me and said, "I'm so-and-so, and I'm the new talent director at this company locally, and I want to bring you to work with my team." And I was like, oh my God, I forgot I asked for that, And I was like, yes, I'd love to work with you. And we finished talking, somebody else came up and said, "I want to bring you to work at my company." Love transforms. And that's the message.